Renee Beeman. Hello, Renee.
Hi, John.
How are you?
Great. Pleasure to be here.
Glad you could be here. Tell us about Beautiful Gate Outreach Center.
The Beautiful Gate Outreach Center, first of all, I say it's faith-based. Sometimes that makes people a little bit nervous, but I say that so people can understand what generates us to do the work that we do, and it's out of our faith. We are an HIV center. We do a lot of different programs on the prevention side, really educating the community and helping them to understand that HIV is preventable. So we have a lot of programs geared around that. And then realizing that a lot of people are living with HIV. So we have programs to respond to their needs and their families' needs. So HIV Center, faith-based, and really trying to make a difference in the community.
And one of the first to really embrace people with HIV and AIDS, which people were afraid to for a long time.
We're proud to say that we were the first to be appointed by the state to do rapid testing. That was a big turnaround when that new methodology came that people can get same-day results. So we were excited about that and how that has just blossomed into other different programs that we really are looking at it in a really more complex issue of how to treat a person who gets positive, how to treat their family, and still the prevention from our teenagers all the way to our seniors. So even though HIV is those three little words, it's a complex disease that's really taking over our community, but we're standing strong and we're going to fight it.
How can the public get engaged and support the work that you do at Beautiful Gate Outreach Center?
We want people to know that all of our services are free, that we are able to bring the message. Some people have inquired about family reunions, about coming to their church, coming to their organization, coming to their business. That's what we want to do in order to get the message out. It's amazing how we went to a business during the lunch break and just talked about HIV, how many questions people had, and they didn't know what type of venue that they wanted to hear the message, but they felt comfortable that it was at work. So we are available to bring that information message to whatever genre, whatever aspect, whatever venue, so they can get the message. So we're there because we need the community to be a part of this fight. It's just not Beautiful Gate's mission or any of the other AIDS service organizations. It's when the community joins forces and we see that there's a problem, but we talk about it and we educate and empower ourselves together. So that's what we're looking for the community, just to join on in this fight. We need the community to band with us.
Very well said.
Thank you.
Thank you, Renee.
Great. Thank you so much, John.
We're at the DuPont Environmental Education Center talking with Delaware's Senator Chris Coons. The economy is improving, but not fast enough, at least from a political point of view, not fast enough for the president. What needs to happen to change things? I mean, Simpson Bowles back on the table, or something like it?
We've had, I believe, 27 months now of steady private sector job growth. We are in an ongoing recovery. But as you say, it's not as strong as it needs to be. This is one of the slowest recoveries ever. And so we had an enormous, deep recession. I think it was strong and decisive action by this administration that saved the American auto industry, that prevented the recession from turning into a depression. But our recovery hasn't been as robust as all of us would have hoped. I do think there's a real leadership role here for the president and for the presidential candidate of the other party and Congress to put on the table balanced, responsible, bipartisan budget resolution that would allow people to have some sense of where we're going after the election. We're only going to have about 25 working days in the so-called lame duck session between the election and the end of the year. And at the end of this calendar year, an enormous amount of fiscal change will happen if we don't act. And the Congress has seemed particularly adept at not acting. The partisan fractures in the Congress, particularly in the House of Representatives, have made it very hard. We have had a record number of filibusters in the Senate. We've had a record number of bills that go from the House to the Senate to the House and then die there. We're not passing big legislation. And there will be fundamental changes in our country's fiscal policy January 1, 2013, unless we act. So I've invested time and effort in a bipartisan group that is meeting more than 30 senators, talking regularly to try and begin educating each other about what are the tough choices we'll have to be ready to make. I was pleased to see recent reporting that this has now moved up, that far more senior Republicans and Democrats are participating in conversations. Because at the end of the day, we all know we have to make some adjustment in our current policy trajectory in order to encourage private investment in resurrecting the American economy. And as long as folks can't predict what their tax rates are going to be, what the regulatory environment's going to be, and whether or not the House and Senate can work with the next administration to solve these problems, we're not likely to see the kind of investment we need to lift this economy again.
What are you hearing here in Delaware from, the business people, the labor market people, just ordinary folks? What are you hearing? What's their
What I hear over and over is, first, that folks want to see me being bipartisan in Washington. They want to see us engaging in principled compromise to move the economy forward. And so I've gotten a very positive response to the Startup 2.0 Act that I introduced jointly with Senators Warner, Moran, and Rubio, which has a whole group of incentives, investments, opportunities around immigration, tax, trade, to encourage small business startups. Second, a bill that I introduced with Senator Moran of Kansas, a Republican, the Master Limited Partnerships bill, got a good response on the News Journal editorial pages and elsewhere here. I think more than not, folks appreciate the effort because they see so little bipartisanship. We are blessed to be represented by Congressman Carney and Senator Carper, who also have that same attitude and intensity about trying to find paths forward. Within Delaware, folks want us to continue to work well with our governor, who's been a great leader on attracting renewed investment in manufacturing. I've just had constructive meetings recently with folks at the PBF refinery about a major new project they're hoping to bring to Delaware that would create several hundred high-wage, high-skill construction jobs. We recently did the groundbreaking on the new Bloom Energy manufacturing site at the former Chrysler site, the new UD Star campus. I think both of these are very optimistic signs, and I know there's some who are skeptical about the possibility of growth in employment in manufacturing. But I'm convinced that we need to continue to strengthen the manufacturing sector because those are typically the best jobs. They have the highest wage, highest benefits of any sector. Last, we have to make sure that Dodd-Frank implementation, which is critical to our financial services sector, continues to move forward in a responsible way. We have to strike a balance that allows the significant financial services industry in Delaware to have a path forward. There are many in Congress, particularly in the other party, House and Senate, who are arguing for a complete repeal of the Dodd-Frank framework, which at this point, I hear from financial services leaders, would be more harmful than helpful because they've already moved several years in the direction of implementation. The challenge is to make sure that we're not over-regulating in a way that will strangle innovation, that will make it hard for our services to compete, while still moving forward on those critical pieces of regulation that will make our economy stronger, that'll make our markets more transparent, and that will sustain long-term growth. We've had a couple of real wins recently. Governor Markell's leadership has been very strong in attracting financial services employment to Delaware. We need to deliver at the federal level a regulatory framework that is predictable, that's clear, that makes our market stronger, but that also sustains growth here in Delaware.
Thanks, Senator.
Thank you, Jeff.
Pegasus was started in 2002, so we're going on our 10th year now. And it was started by a combination of board members, volunteers, and staff who recognized that it was time to have a concentrated interest in the arts and in bringing the arts to all of the Boys and Girls Clubs throughout the state of Delaware.
Today we're going to be making paintings out of chocolate syrup.
We serve 35,000 youth a year, 1 in 5 of every school-age children. It was important to us that we were giving these children the same kinds of access that children that enroll in art centers or other after-school programming with their schools are able to achieve.
What would be the positive shape and the negative shape?
The Boys and Girls Club mission is to inspire and enable all youth, especially those who need us most, to realize their full potential as productive, responsible, and caring citizens. The kids that come to the Boys and Girls Club come from all backgrounds. Our clubs are located in areas where kids need us most, and I think all kids need us most. I don't think there's any one particular group that needs us more than another. So we serve any kids that come through our door. We do the best we can to make sure they're productive citizens when they leave our establishment. A lot of times we think art is drawing, coloring, writing, whatever it may be, but to bring in drumming and theatrical and all these other types of art, our kids' minds are expanded as well as our adults. Our minds are expanded as well, because sometimes we don't think of art as being rapping or other areas. And I saw the excitement in the kids' eyes wanting this type of art. Just hearing them talk about it. When I come into the facility and Mr. Tanger, you should have seen me doing the drums, or Mr. Tanger, you should see me doing this. They're excited about the opportunity to do these things that allow them to express themselves.
And stop. Very good, everybody rumble.
Okay, what you're going to see today in the drum class, you're going to see the kids hopefully fully engaged in not only learning drumming, a skill or technique, but learning social skills, emotional skills, opening up, talking, sharing with each other, positive risk-taking skills, listening, discipline, all those kind of things. That's really what the Beat the Odds program is all about. And we're going to make some music too, hopefully.
Receive. Keep going. Give.
I love to work with children, especially those who may be in a disadvantaged situation, and I can relate to a lot of these kids here growing up in this neighborhood and the challenges and things they may have. So, yeah, it definitely did help me to make that choice. Well, I've only been on with this program since the fall of 2011, so it's only been a few months for me. But I have seen great progress in the kids that I've been working with in this short amount of time.
At Pegasus ArtWorks and throughout the Boys and Girls Clubs, we believe that the arts provides really important critical thinking skills. We really believe strongly that broad-based access to the arts helps our children to become better, more well-rounded people that have a better understanding of the world.
Investment in early childhood education is probably the best investment we can make. This is a state that takes early childhood education very, very seriously, understands that if children enter kindergarten ready to learn and ready to read, it closes gaps. It's not a coincidence that our investment, whether it's in Race to Top at the K-12 side or Race to Top Early Learning Challenge, it's not a coincidence that our money's coming here to Delaware. You got extraordinary leadership from the top.
This week we're going to be learning about foods. So I need someone to name me a healthy food. Zane, can you give me a healthy food? Chicken. Green beans.
There is a division that is a product of the life circumstances of children.
Karen gave me spinach.
By the time these children are arriving at school, that achievement gap already exists. It's not because of the little children. It's not because of what they can know. It's not because of what they can do. It's because of the differential conditions that they've had to live in. We need to change that. If we change that, then we can prevent the achievement gap. Maybe not all of it, but some of it.
We have green beans, cereal, graham crackers, and fruit.
I think in this domain, there's among those who are experts, pretty much a consensus on what steps need to be taken to strengthen the educational experience, the developmental opportunity for young children. And what they need most of all is an environment that's rich in all the supports that they require, not only for cognition, not only in terms of learning the alphabet, but in terms of their own development, paying attention, being able to sit still, being able to listen, being able to get along with others, learning all those skills that are critical to everything else they will know the rest of their lives. And the key point is to get to a situation where they arrive at school ready to learn.
Oh, look, it's like his family. Look what Mark Jr. found. You see that up there?
Head Start is a preschool program, and our main job is to prepare children to enter kindergarten ready to learn. Every moment in the Head Start classroom is a learning experience. Some folks say that they're playing, but they're not. It is supervised areas that they're learning different things. We have the science areas, we have our math areas, we have our art areas. We do numbers, we do letters, we do literacy. There's a wide range of activities and curriculum-based things that we do in the program to prepare children.
Good job, Jimmy.
One of the challenges in the early childhood domain is that the compensation levels for those who are working in this field are very low, and we need to change that. What you really need is an incentive structure for providers to improve the character and quality of the care and education that they deliver, and I believe most providers want to do that. But we have to support them. We have to give them the resources they need. And that's what we've been working on the last couple of years, and that's what's been receiving a tremendous amount of support from the Governor, General Assembly, others, and now from the federal government.
Delaware Stars for Early Success is a statewide program, and it's really designed to help improve the quality of early education programs and school-age programs throughout the state. Programs that are in Delaware Stars can access grants and awards to help purchase some additional learning materials if that's what they need. And then the state has also just developed a tiered reimbursement system. Programs who move to higher levels in Delaware Stars actually access a higher reimbursement rate for the purchase of care eligible children. And we want programs to use that to invest in their quality. For example, to retain staff, because we know we want to build the professional development of our staff to serve children, and we want them to stay in early childhood because it's really important. And so we want programs to use their resources in that way.
I think the key factor, if we think about what difference this makes and why it should be an important public issue, is a pilot was done of a kindergarten readiness study, how ready are children to go on into school, just about a year ago. And that pilot indicated that about 60% of the children were arriving at school without the proficiencies they needed to succeed in kindergarten. It's almost 2/3 of the children unprepared to succeed in kindergarten. We need to make sure they're ready when they arrive at kindergarten, but we also need to make sure that those who are in K-12 education are ready for the kinds of children they're receiving and able to support them as they need. So a key element here is to pull together the early childhood initiatives with all of the educational reforms that are involved with the first Race to the Top commitment and plan that we've been pursuing, and all of the elements of the Vision 2015 initiative that was developed in 2006. Our target is to have 80% of the young children in our state from low-income families have access to top quality programs. That's a very ambitious goal. We think we can do it.
Early child development is most important. The money that you invest now could be save millions and millions and millions of dollars later on in the future, because we're preparing students, children, to enter kindergarten ready to learn, confident and bold, and getting families to advocate for their children.